If you're struggling with covering stiletto heels, this is a quick and easy tutorial on how to do it. So I'm going to cover this stiletto heel using just a nice thin stretchy lambskin leather. So first thing I'm going to do is take the heel and just place it on the piece, and you kind of roll it from side to side to figure out how much leather you're going to need. So I can see that I've got more than enough there. Now what I want to do is take a pen. Usually I would use a silver pen, but so you can see it better, I'm going to use a black one. And I want to trace approximately 5 millimeters around the whole thing. So I'm going to roll it from side to side, just giving about 5 mil excess, and the same thing in here. Okay, so you should end up with a shape that looks a little bit like a mushroom, and then you can go ahead and cut that out. So once you've done that, you want to just put a piece of scrap paper down, and I'm going to use the non-toxic glue here. Now I always apply the glue to the heel first because this is a solid plastic. It doesn't really soak in, so it takes a bit longer to dry. So we'll coat the whole heel in the glue, and then we'll coat this piece in glue as well. Okay, so while that's drying, I'll just show you a couple of other examples. So here we have an already covered stiletto heel. So you can see the piece that we've just made now is the piece that will go all the way around the back section like that. And then we're going to need to make a second piece, which is what we call the leaf, which is going to go inside here like that. Now sometimes you'll see on stiletto shoes where the sole actually comes up and continues down as the leaf of the heel. That's an option too. If you are going to do that with your sole, you can just leave this piece out completely, but I am going to show you how you can put it in. It's also sometimes a nice design feature to put the leaf as a different color if you want to. The way that's different to if you were covering a block heel like I've got here is that this is actually just one whole piece that goes all the way around, and you can see it joins in the center like that. So you don't need a leaf at all when you're doing a block heel. Okay, so that's had a bit of time to dry now, so we will go ahead and stick these. So I usually like to start by just placing the heel right in the center. And then you just kind of want to roll it from side to side whilst you sort of push the leather down nice and flat. And you may need to manipulate it a little bit. Okay. All right, so I just gave that a really nice stretch around the side, and you can see now I've got way more than 5 mil excess here because I gave the leather a good stretch. So on the side that does have 5 mil, I'm just going to go ahead and fold it over like that. And on the other side, I'm just going to cut a little bit of that excess away. Sometimes if you have a little bit of difficulty getting it to fold in on these curves, you can just put a couple of little tiny snips in there. This one doesn't need it because it's a really nice soft leather, but most of the time if you're doing anything a bit stiffer, you'll need to put a few little snips in there. Okay, I'm just going to get a little bit of glue and put it around the top there so that we can fold this section over. Now while that's drying, I am going to get the pattern for the leaf. So what I'm going to do is take another piece of leather, and I usually do this on the edge of a table, and I just place the heel in there like that so that the edge of the table is really filling in this curve here. And then all I'm going to do is trace around the heel. Okay, so your piece should look something like this. And then I've done a line at the top of the heel there, but I just want to extend it out a little bit more, probably around about 5 mil. And then this is really important. When we cut this piece out, we actually want it to sit a little bit smaller than what we intend here, just so that we don't have any overlap in this area. So what I'm going to do is just cut on the inside of the pen line, so that I'm cutting the pen line off and making the whole piece just a little bit smaller. Okay, and before we glue that in, always check to see how it fits. We want to make sure that it's not overlapping so that we don't have any excess bits here. But we also want to make sure that it covers up everything and fits nicely. To me that looks pretty good, but I just want to take literally a slither off this corner here. Then we can go ahead and glue up that piece. Okay, at this point I can fold the top over, like that. And you can just pinch those bits there, and you can even just go ahead and cut them straight off. And then we want to glue the inside of this so that we can stick the leaf on. Now if you want to get a really perfect finish, you can take a craft knife and just slice away some of the excess bulk in there as well. I'm not going to do that for the sake of this video, but you can really skive down those edges to get it really flat and perfect. Another option you can do there if you don't want to skive it down is that you can just take a little scrap piece of your leather, so something like that, just so that you don't have ridges. There's no real art to this, I'm just layering it in. That piece actually just happened to fit quite nicely. So really make sure that's sealed in nicely like that. And then sometimes at the top here, I actually just snip a little angle like that so that I can wrap it up in there like that. Okay, so we're almost there with this heel. We just need to get our heel tip on the bottom now. So it should come with a little heel tip like this. And I usually just cut the base so that it's flush with the heel. Cut the base of the leather so that it's flush with the base of the heel. And then you just want to place your heel tip in. Make sure that it's straight. You don't want to sort of hammer it in a bit wonky. So really make sure you've got it nice and straight like that. And then you just want to lightly tap it in. Now I always tap it in about halfway and then just give it another check to make sure it's not wonky, because at this point you can twist it a little bit, but I'm actually pretty happy with that, so I'll just go ahead and tap it all the way in. And there we have a covered stiletto heel.